Hey there, Mark Alexander back with some more movie recommendations. This time it's Perfect Movies, Part 1, because I got quite a few to recommend. By perfect movie, I mean a movie that's perfect from beginning to end. Every actor is perfect, every line of dialogue is perfect, nothing is wasted. You wouldn't want to change anything. And if you stumble upon it on a movie channel or something, you even in the middle of it, you would probably just start watching it because you know where it's at. It's movies that you would watch over and over again just because they're so perfect. So let's get right into it and start with the archetypal example of a perfect movie, Groundhog Day with Bill Murray and Andy McDowell. I'm sure everybody has seen it. It's a perfect movie because everything is right about it. There's nothing wasted, and especially since it's one of these time loop movies where things are repeated, you could waste a lot of time if you repeat too much. So the director and editor, when they're smart, they're able to just hone in on just what's needed to propel the story forward. It's both funny and moving. It has a great ending, and it reflects something true about life. So you probably will be hard put to find a movie that you could call more perfect than this. But I'll try. And if you like some of the movies I'm recommending, you'll probably like some here you haven't seen. And I'm sure there's at least one in this group I'm going to show today that you have not seen. The next perfect movie I'm going to recommend is Edge of Tomorrow, which for some reason they renamed Live, Die, and Repeat. This is with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. They changed the title. Apparently, not enough people went to see it in the theaters, and they thought it'd be better to change the title. I don't see a need for the change. I thought Edge of Tomorrow was just fine. This is a perfect movie because it also, like Groundhog's Day, is a time loop movie, and they do it just right. You're trying to figure out what's going on, why they're in this loop, what's the problem, what are the nature of the aliens. The aliens are unique. It's just well done, and it's very clean, and the acting is great, and the direction is great, and it's one of the most powerful, in a sense, alien invasion movies I've ever seen. So I highly recommend Live, Die, Repeat, also called Edge of Tomorrow. The next one also, which almost everybody has seen, Princess Bride. Everything's great about it. It's funny, it's moving, absolutely brilliantly done, clean cut, excellent every step of the way. Now let's go back in time to some westerns. I went back and forth with this one or The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but I had to go with Once Upon a Time in the West. Once Upon a Time in the West is a Sergio Leone movie. It's one of those Italian spaghetti westerns, and Charles Bronson is in the lead. Henry Fonda plays a bad guy to such an extent. It's brilliant. It's funny. It's deep. One of the great things about Sergio Leone is that he does these incredible close-ups. You know, this movie's like 2 hours and 45 minutes long, but it's just a wonderful Western that explores character, not a whole lot of talking. It's one that I can watch over and over again. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Now going really back in time, probably one of the best Cary Grant, Jimmy Stewart, Katharine Hepburn movies, The Philadelphia Story. A perfect film. Classic kind of screwball comedy in some ways. Just wonderful. Perfect actors, perfectly well done script. Worth watching over and over again. My wife and I sit down and watch a lot of these kind of movies every couple of years just to go through them again. If you haven't seen a good Cary Grant movie in a while, if you haven't seen this, you got to see this. But Jimmy Stewart, Katharine Hepburn, perfect. Another one, and this may be a little more idiosyncratic, is Cameron Crowe's life story, Almost Famous. And this is a special edition. It is the untitled edition. It's extended. It also has some commentary with him and his mother talking about it. So he grew up in the 70s as a young teenage reporter, and he would be able to go on tours with groups like Led Zeppelin and The Who. Names are changed, obviously, in this, but a lot of this is based on real people and real incidents. If you haven't seen this movie, it's a must. It's a perfect movie. Everything about it is just wonderful. It's a coming-of-age story at a whole new level. And since it's based on the writer-director's life, his heart is into it, and his story is a good one. Excellent. Among foreign films, one of my favorites, and probably many of yours, Amelie. Amelie almost made it into the Catalyst character kind of things, although she does change a little bit, but she's one of those people that is very quirky and is kind of her own person in a way that's just wonderful and innocent and clear. Perfect film, won an Oscar, deservedly for Best Foreign Film. And I'd be surprised if you hadn't seen it. If you hadn't, boy, cue this one up. And then finally, for this video, a perfect 11 to 12 hour movie. Lord of the Rings extended edition. You got to do the extended edition. The theatrical releases were fine, but this was where Peter Jackson's heart is, and the editing shows it. For example, in the theater, when I went and saw The Two Towers had some weaknesses to it. But when I saw this extended edition where he re-edited it and cut it in interestingly different ways, it worked perfectly. You can just sit down and just watch this incredible saga, which most of you have already seen. But if you haven't seen the extended edition, I would argue that you haven't seen Lord of the Rings the way Peter Jackson wanted you to see it. This is perfect. Another perfect film. Thanks for showing up. Click like, subscribe, forward it to friends or whatever. But most important, go see the movies. And I'll be back soon with another set for part 2.